For 2 million years, we've been running for our supper. Natural selection has done its work. The result, a species built to run.
We are loaded with features, literally from our heads to our toes, which make us really good at running. So let's start with our toes, right? So one of the features that's important about human beings is that we have short toes. Now why, right? It turns out that having long toes has no effect on walking. You can have long toes and do just fine walking. But when you have really long toes and you run, you put torque forces around those toes that can cause you to actually break your toes. Another key feature in our feet is the arch. So the arch is this raised portion here of your foot, right, that acts as a spring. Now, you do not store and release elastic energy when you walk, right? But when you run, you start using your foot as a spring. 17% of the mechanical energy of the body hitting the ground gets stored up and then released by that spring alone. Now, the Achilles tendon is this amazing spring. It's actually the biggest spring in your body, and in a run, that Achilles soars up and releases about 35% of the energy of your body hitting the ground. 35%. The spring is a completely passive elastic energy storage device. So when you hit the ground, right, and I'll take my shoes off here, right? When you hit the ground, right, and your foot comes down, as your ankle's coming down, you're actually stretching that spring. And then the second half of stance, that spring then recoils and helps push my body up into the air. It's energy for free. You don't use them for walking.
So it's a pure running adaptation.
For running.
It's a pure running adaptation.
Purely for running. Another feature which everybody seems to like, and why not, is the gluteus maximus, right? So it's the largest muscle in the human body. So if you just walk around the room and you kind of hold your butt, right, you'll feel that it basically does nothing. But as soon as you start running, it fires vigorously with every step. The gluteus maximus essentially connects your legs to your hips. So as your body wants to fall forward in a run, the gluteus maximus contracts forcefully and stabilizes your trunk to keep your trunk from falling forward. The insertion site for the gluteus maximus in Australopiths is pretty small. But as soon as you get to the genus Homo, you have this evidence for this real expansion of the upper portion of the gluteus maximus, which is really important for running.
Our primate cousins, they don't have those bums that pop out, if you will.
Yeah, chimps have tiny butts. So having a big butt is a derived feature of the genus Homo. Another key feature is having loose, low shoulders. When you hit the ground and you run, your head wants to pitch forward. We have this special ligament called the nuchal ligament, which runs up along the back of the skull. That ligament is actually connected to a muscle, which goes right to your shoulder. Just as your head wants to go forward, the arm falls down and stabilizes the head.
And that's the natural movement of a running body. Those things are happening in synchrony.
So what we're doing, essentially, when we're running, is that all these systems together help stabilize the body passively. You don't have to think about it. You don't even have to do anything. It just happens naturally. That's why it's so important when you run to have a relaxed body, because you run in a much more stable fashion.